Inflation cools, markets climb, President Trump takes control of DC's police, and America's best-selling cars of the year. Plus, a talk show host gets a new citizenship and the billion-dollar meatball that keeps shoppers coming back. And don't forget today's fun trivia question. What's the largest desert in the world? It's Wednesday, August 13th. This is the Flyover Podcast. Welcome to the Flyover Podcast, taking you above the noise for an unbiased, high-altitude view of today's headlines with daily coverage that's honest and refreshing. Let's cruise the news and land the facts. Good morning and welcome to the Flyover Podcast. I'm your weekday host, Ayla Brown, and there's a lot going on in the world, so let's get right to it and take off with the biggest stories of the day. July inflation came in a little cooler than expected, up 2.7% from a year ago, with core inflation at 3.1%. Housing costs are still leading the way higher, but food prices stayed flat and energy actually dropped. That softer reading had Wall Street cheering, with the S&P 500 and NASDAQ hitting record highs, and traders betting the Fed could start cutting rates as soon as September. We'll have more financial headlines in just a few minutes, as well as a stock market update. Next, President Trump has officially begun a 30-day federal takeover of Washington, D.C.'s police department, calling it a response to a crime emergency. 800 National Guard members are now in the city, and the White House says 23 arrests were made and dozens of homeless encampments were cleared on the first night. Mayor Muriel Bowser says she'll cooperate with federal officials even as local crime numbers are already trending down. And when it comes to America's favorite vehicles this year, it's still trucks and SUVs on top. The Ford F-Series lead the pack with over 412,000 sold in the first half of 2025, followed by the Chevy Silverado and the Toyota RAV4, the highest-ranked SUV. 9 of the top 10 were either pickups or SUVs, with the Toyota Camry as the lone sedan holding its ground. Hey, what about the mom minivans? That's what I drive. Here are your top political headlines. President Trump has nominated economist E.J. Antoni, chief economist at the Heritage Foundation, to lead the Bureau of Labor Statistics, replacing fired Commissioner Erica McIntarfer. Antoni has been a fierce critic of the BLS's current methodology, even suggesting after a weak jobs report that the agency should suspend its monthly jobs releases in favor of quarterly data due to accuracy concerns. In Ohio politics, Democrat Sherrod Brown has announced he plans to run for Senate again in 2026, aiming to reclaim the seat from GOP appointee John Husted after losing to him just months ago. And over in Alabama, Rep. Barry Moore officially declared his candidacy for the open Senate seat left by Senator Tom Tuberville. Moore says he's running because, quote, Alabamans deserve a Trump conservative, setting the stage for a fierce primary battle. And in Texas, Governor Greg Abbott issued a bold warning. If California moves ahead with its own aggressive redistricting plans, Texas could eliminate 10 Democratic districts in retaliation. It's a high-stakes moment in what could become a partisan redistricting showdown between blue and red states. Thanks to our sponsor, Teddy's Turmeric Tamer. Is your four-legged friend slowing down, maybe stiff joints, arthritis, or just not that same tail-wagging energy? Teddy's Turmeric Tamer believes every dog deserves to feel their best, naturally. Their all-natural blend of turmeric, ginger, mushrooms, and omega-3s supports joint health, reduces inflammation, and boosts overall wellness. Inspired by their dog Teddy's cancer journey, where he beat the odds and enjoyed 3 more joyful years after being given just weeks to live, Teddy's Turmeric Tamer has helped countless dogs move easier, feel better, and live more active lives. Your pup deserves to feel their best, so give your pup the gift of health and more wag-worthy days. Visit teddysturmerictamer.com and use the code FLYOVER for 10% off. And by the way, you can find all of that information in the show notes below. Here are some of those bonus stories just for listeners of the Flyover podcast and their dogs that you're not going to find anywhere in the email edition. Late night host Jimmy Kimmel says he's officially an Italian citizen thanks to his grandmother's heritage. He shared the news while talking politics with Sarah Silverman, adding it to a list of life changes sparked by Donald Trump's second term. Kimmel, a longtime Trump critic, joined celebrities like Rosie O'Donnell and Ellen DeGeneres, who followed through on plans to live abroad after the 2024 election. Tennis legend Monica Seles revealed she's been living with myasthenia gravis, a rare autoimmune disorder that causes muscle weakness, for the past 3 years. The 9-time Grand Slam champion said the early signs included double vision and fatigue, and she hopes her story will raise awareness, much like her past comebacks from life-changing challenges. And finally, IKEA's Swedish meatballs remain a top draw nearly 4 decades after their debut, with more than 1 billion sold each year. Served with gravy, mashed potatoes, and lingonberry jam, the dish was designed to keep shoppers fueled and, of course, browsing the store in nearly 500 stores worldwide. By the way, we do have a little poll question about those meatballs coming right up. But that is your podcast extra roundup. I'll be giving you more exclusive content in tomorrow's podcast. And still to come, the World Series has gotten an official date, and Kodak is in serious trouble, plus a stock market update. Here's what's happening in finance. General Motors is hitting the reset button on its driverless car program. But this time, the focus isn't on robo-taxis. Instead, GM wants to build self-driving cars for personal use. The shift comes a year after its Cruise Origin vehicle struck and dragged a pedestrian in San Francisco, an incident that led to the suspension of its autonomous taxi service. Kodak is in serious trouble. The company told the SEC it might not survive after reporting a $26 million loss this quarter, a sharp drop from the $25 million profit it posted this time last year. The filing has sparked concerns about the future of the 136-year-old photography icon. And meal kit company Blue Apron is ditching its all-or-nothing subscription model. Customers will soon be able to order a la carte for the first time, along with new menu options like high-protein meals, as the brand tries to win back home cooks who've moved on to other food delivery options. And we talked a little earlier in the show, but here is your full stock market update. The U.S. markets closed higher Tuesday with the Nasdaq climbing 1.39%, the S&P 500 up 1.13%, and the Dow Jones gaining 1.10%. Bitcoin rose 0.65% to about $120,000, while gold matched the Nasdaq's 1.39% jump. One standout mover was Tonix Pharmaceuticals, which surged nearly 33% after highlighting strong cash reserves and progress on its fibromyalgia drug. In sports, Major League Baseball has officially set the 2025 World Series to begin on Friday, October 24th, with Game 7 scheduled for Saturday, November 1st, if it's needed. Now, who's going to win this year is the real question. Leave your favorite team in the comments section. Over in Green Bay, quarterback Jordan Love is sidelined this week for a little procedure on his left thumb, specifically a ligament repair. But the Packers expect him back in practice next week and ready for week 1 as the injury is on his non-throwing hand. And in a historic sports crossover, the UFC will bring professional mixed martial arts to the White House for the first time ever on July 4th, 2026, as part of America's 250th birthday celebrations, with the event set to air live on CBS. And lastly, the Nevada Supreme Court has ruled in favor of former NFL head coach John Gruden in his lawsuit against the league. Gruden claims the NFL intentionally leaked damaging emails he sent in 2021, leading to his resignation from the Las Vegas Raiders. The court's decision allows his case to move forward, keeping alive his effort to prove the leak was targeted and malicious. And still to come, a Mayo-themed Vegas wedding. Yes, you heard me right. And a wild NYPD dockside arrest. Don't go anywhere. In science and technology, NASA's Perseverance rover has delivered one of its most vivid and detailed panoramic views of Mars to date, captured at a spot called Falbrine. On a rare dust-free day, the Mastcam Z stitched together 96 high-res images into a 360-degree panorama. And while the sky looks surprisingly blue, that's an enhanced color illusion to highlight terrain contrast. In reality, Martian skies are typically a dusty red. Next, in a perfect bit of cat crazy news, Finnish researchers have uncovered a brand new feline fur color called salmiak, named after salty licorice. These cats sport a striking gradient pattern where their full fur starts black at the roots and fades to white at the tips. It's a look driven by a genetic deletion near the KIT gene found in those cats. And from the labs of Cupertino, Apple has just filed a patent for a sleek, all-glass iPhone design with a wraparound touchscreen that covers all 6 sides of the device. The front glass curves around to join a seamless back panel, and the edges could even show icons and controls. But experts warn that the manufacturing hurdles mean we likely won't see this for another few years. Let's wrap things up with a few stories that you might have missed, but I found very interesting. If you've ever wondered whether your relationship is healthy, well, there's now a quick quiz that breaks it down for you. Backed by psychologists, it helps you compare your dynamic against markers like trust, respect, honesty, communication, and conflict resolution. Helpful insight whether you're in a cozy marriage or just getting serious. I got to take that test later today. And then in Queens, an NYPD detective made a dramatic arrest, jumping straight into the East Rockaway Inlet to nab a suspected car thief who jumped off a dock to escape. The chase, caught on body cam, ended with the suspect struggling in the water before officers hauled him ashore and cuffed him. And in Las Vegas, a couple literally said, "I do," to Mayo, winning a Hellmann's contest that had them exchange vows with a mayonnaise jar serving as an officiant. Their reception, of course, a tower of chicken tenders and a mayonnaise-based wedding cake, proving true love can be deliciously unconventional and a little delusional. And Buick just dialed up the retro futurism with a massive new concept car designed in China, the all-electric Electra Orbit. Now imagine a 19-foot-long fastback packed with jet-age cues, from a sweeping aerodynamic roofline and LED hockey stick headlights to deployable spoilers. It's a stunning design statement, though purely a vision piece with no production in sight. Now, I personally found all of these stories fascinating, so you can find a link to each of them in the show notes below. Now, here's yesterday's poll question and the results. What is your strongest memory of AOL dial-up? Ooh, 50% of you said the screechy modem tones. Who could forget that? 17% said the "you got mail" voice. Another 17% said the endless loading times. 15% of you never used it. Oh, you must be really young. And 1% said the chat rooms. I voted for the chat rooms. I can't believe that I came in last place. That is okay, though. I am very comfortable being in a boat in the middle of the ocean, just paddling by myself. Me and the 1%. And here's today's poll question. Have you ever tried IKEA's Swedish meatballs? Either yes, and I love them. Yes, but I don't like them. No, but I want to. No, and I'm not interested. And lastly, what's IKEA? I have actually never tried them, and I don't really want to. I know people get giddy about IKEA, but I just don't go there enough to get excited by it. And if I did, I wouldn't be there for the food, okay? I'll read the answers in tomorrow's show, and you can vote in the show notes below. Thank you to all of you who have voted. Here's today's fun trivia question. What is the largest desert in the world? Well, the answer, Antarctica is the largest desert in the world by area, covering 5.5 million square miles. Virtually the entire continent is considered a polar desert because it receives less than half an inch of rain on average every year. Some experts even believe that certain parts located away from the coast have not had rain in the past 14 million years. Wow. Wasn't that answer a little bit unexpected? I could have sworn it was the Sahara Desert, but I was wrong and you probably were as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, for watching, listening, sharing, and rating the Flyover podcast. Once again, if you've missed our news, you can invest in the Flyover. If you want to learn more, you can at going to invest.jointheflyover.com. Once again, that's invest.jointheflyover.com. Tomorrow is Wednesday. We're making it halfway through the work week, so let's go with a bang. Until then, thank you so much for flying with us.